The demon General Grist reports his failures to his boss, who is really disappointed in him. He shames him for not being able to capture a single human city even with the huge monster army, and Grist promises that he will not fail again. His boss, probably the Demon Lord, commands him to find Claire before anything, and he accepts the order. Once outside the castle, Grist begins throwing a tantrum because he doesn't have a single lead. But just then, Michelle, the mastermind behind the previous attack, shows up. Grist is angry at him and asks how dare he show his face here, and Michelle replies that he has not received payment for the previous mission. Grist wants to tear him apart immediately, but then Michelle tells him that Claire is heading towards the capital of the human empire, and instead of knights, a bunch of S-rank adventurers are guarding her. Grist asks why he is telling him this, and Michelle replies that he needs to clear up his reputation after the previous failure, and he wants to help the demons in capturing Claire. Meanwhile, Lloyd and his party continue their journey when suddenly, they sense some motion in the bushes. They get alert, but luckily, it turns out to be just a bunny. To be sure, Lloyd uses his search spell and finds that there are no demons nearby. They decide to take a break after that, and Lloyd starts staring at Yui like a creep. He tells her that it looks like she and everyone else have mastered something new, because they were full of confidence earlier when they got ready to smoke the rabbit. He, on the other hand, feels anxious because he doesn't think his preparations are enough. Yui tells him that he should have more confidence in himself, and Claire supports her. She tells Lloyd that he is the most powerful member of the group, but he thinks she is talking out of her ass. However, other members of the group also feel the same. They tell Lloyd that they trained in the village to catch up to him, and he needs to realize his true strength because that is where real confidence comes from. Yui tells him that if he underestimates himself, he won't even know how to improve, and Lloyd replies that he will work on being more confident from now on. On the other side, Merlin decides to visit an old friend who lives in a castle. The guards stop her from entering, so she uses magic to brainwash them and enters the castle, but she knows that most of it is an illusion. She soon reaches a wall and dispels the illusion cast on it to reveal a door, but just as she is about to knock, the door opens and a furry pulls her in. Merlin asks the furry named Ryon how did she know she was here, and she replies that she could smell her magic power. Anyway, Merlin gets to business and inquires about the Demon Kingdom. Ryon tells her that the son of the previous Demon King's son runs the magic kingdom of demons, but they can assume that this generation of demons is not as strong as the previous one. After that, Merlin starts praising Ryon's research, but she believes that Merlin is much more amazing because she can cast magic without incantation, and she invented many new types of spells by studying ancient magic. However, Merlin is not here to talk about herself. She pulls out an ancient magic book from her storage spell and asks Ryon to analyze it. She wants to know if they can use this half-book to seal the Demon Lord, which makes Ryon worried because that means the Demon Lord can revive. Back in the forest, Lloyd and others decide to be more careful because it is about to get dark soon. Lloyd decides to do one wide-range scan of the area, but something interferes with his spell. Suddenly, a thick fog starts filling up the area unnaturally, and when Silica tries to disperse it with magic, she finds that she can't even summon her staff. Lloyd remarks that it seems the work of demons who are manipulating the mist with magic to prevent them from using their weapons. They immediately start running towards the village to get out of the fog, and Yui says that if the demons are blocking magic with the fog, they won't be able to find them either. Lloyd replies that they might have some hidden means to find them, and even if the demons fail, there is the danger of monsters attacking them. At the same time, Ryon finishes analyzing the book, and she tells Merlin that it still has traces of magic left behind by their friend Sybil. Merlin gets bittersweet feelings on hearing that, and she says that it is the final message of Sybil. She then asks Ryon if she remembers the orphan named Lloyd whom she adopted, and reveals that he once touched the book and turned out that he is compatible with ancient magic. That makes him a chosen one, just like her and Sybil. Ryon says that it is still not easy for people to use ancient spells until they hit the peak of their profession, and Merlin says that she trained Lloyd hard so that he would become powerful. However, she failed to understand his emotions, and he ran away from the house to become an adventurer. She states that right now, Lloyd is escorting the Beastman princess to the capital, and she came here to see him again because she misses him terribly. On the other hand, Lloyd and his friends reach the village, but it is also covered in fog. Lloyd amplifies Silica's magic power so that she can summon her staff, and once she gets it, she uses a wind spell to blow away the fog, revealing a gang of demons standing in front of them. Claire immediately recognizes Grist as her kidnapper from the last time, and he tells Lloyd and others to hand over the girl to him because he has use for her. He sends his wizard underlings to attack first, but now that Lloyd and others can use magic, they summon their weapons and get ready to fight. Yui sends flying slashes towards the enemies to take them down, and Silica attacks them with fireballs. Cross climbs on a watchtower and rapid fires arrows to take down the wizards before they can put up their guard. Meanwhile, Grist walks towards Claire unbothered by anything, and when Cross tries to shoot him, his arrows just bounce off. Even Yui's flying slash is useless against him, and Grist simply charges towards Claire. Dagas blocks his punch with his legendary shield, and Yui uses this chance to attack his exposed back. However, her sword stops at a distance away from Grist's back, almost as if he has copied Gojo's Infinity. Lloyd realizes that he is releasing magic power to make it work as an invisible armor, and Grist decides to deal with him first because he seems the smartest guy here. He jumps up to attack him, but Silica attacks him with her new spell. Even that doesn't do much damage, and Grist moves behind Lloyd and others while the smoke clears. His underlings close in on them as well, but as everyone panics, a huge wave of ice sweeps through the street, freezing all the wizards but sparing Lloyd and others. It was cast by a beastman who is here to save Claire, and he is not the only one assisting Lloyd's party. The green-haired spy named Will is also there, and he confronts Michelle, who is behind spreading the fog. While the two of them talk more and fight less, the beastman climbs down from his perch and heads towards Claire. He declares that all adventurers are useless, but he will give them a pass this time since they kept Claire safe. She immediately runs towards the guy and introduces him as her childhood best friend and the ice crystal hero, Syrian. Yui has heard about Syrian and his foul manners, and his behavior only proves that the rumors about him being a mannerless brute are true. However, he folds whenever Claire scolds him, and the girls get a bit curious about their friendship. Just then, Grist breaks free from his ice prison, and everyone gets ready to fight him, but Syrian tells them to stay back because he will deal with this bastard himself. He kicks the ground and sends an ice wave to freeze him, but Grist breaks free of that easily. He kicks some ice crystals towards Syrian, who catches them easily and launches an intense attack on him. While Grist initially evades all the attacks, he starts having trouble as the battle goes on. Syrian goes batshit crazy with his attacks, but Lloyd thinks that he is not fast or skilled enough to stop Grist from counterattacking. Suddenly, he notices that Grist is taking cold damage because he is not using his magic armor. This makes him realize that something is fishy, and he warns Syrian to be careful. However, this arrogant douchebag refuses to listen to an adventurer, and that turns out to be his worst mistake. During the battle, Grist was compressing magic in his fist, and once he has charged up enough magic power, he leaps towards Syrian to finish him. Lloyd immediately warns everyone to take cover, and as Syrio and Grist clash, a huge explosion rocks the place. When the explosion fizzles out, Lloyd uses his search skill to confirm that all the members of his party are safe, but he can't notice where Claire and Syrian are. He gets an answer to one half of his question as he sees the unconscious Claire with Grist, who declares that he is going to take her away with him. Just then, a huge floating ship arrives there and Grist grabs onto it and flies away, with Lloyd and his friends just watching helplessly.